Audio. Mic check 1 2. Turn up the volume. Turn up the volume. Okay, we're in here and we're all good. Hey, everybody, you know what this is.
TaijhTV.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a quick show, but hopefully very informational. Now, I'm not here to give you crypto prices and predictions and all that shit. I'm here to lay down my conspiracy theories. Yes, my conspiracy theories. Um, we're going to go off and I'm going to tell you what I feel about this Omicron virus or this variant of the coronavirus. I'm going to tell you how I feel and what the true meaning on why government officials and big business is acting the way they are. On the screen, you're going to see Dirty Joe Biden, our president. He's telling the unvaccinated that they will face death and severe illness this winter if they don't get vaccinated. Let's play the video.
I am a direct message to the American people, and tomorrow the team is going to be on television and talking in more detail about what I'm going to be speaking about today. But I want to send a direct message to the American people. Due to the steps we've taken, Omicron has not yet spread as fast as it would have otherwise done, and that's happening in Europe. But it's here now, and it's spreading, and it's going to increase. For unvaccinated, we are looking at a winter of severe illness and death for unvaccinated. For themselves, their families, and the hospital, they'll soon overwhelm. But there's good news. If you're vaccinated, you have your booster shot, you're protected from severe illness and death. Period. Number two.
No, that's not period. You see, reports are coming out that people vaccinated are getting it just as much as people unvaccinated. You see, this is the old Hegelian dialect that the government is doing here. They have government officials, scientists saying that natural immunity is better than the vaccine. But why aren't they pushing that? New York State just came out 20,000 plus, got it over 24 hours. Joe Biden and this administration, they're getting ready to lock shit back down. My question is, why would they hint at locking the country down when it didn't work the first time? Just because Joe Biden is our president, that lockdowns will work this time? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Seriously doubt it. I've said this before. No one's going to stop this virus. Nothing is going to stop this virus. This was supposed to be a 2-week ordeal. 2 fucking weeks. Here we are 2 years later. Still going through it. On the screen now, I'm going to kind of follow what I say about this, and I'm going to lead it into the Great Reset, the good old Great Reset that millions of people talk about, and how these two are joined at the hip with each other. Dr. Anthony Fauci predicts more hospitalizations and deaths over winter. You see, they're spreading the fear. The fear police are back. You see, Americans got pissed that Trump would lie to them about the severity of the COVID. These guys, no, they're just going to tell you straight up, you're going to die if you're not vaccinated. Dr. Anthony Fauci reportedly said Thursday that the coronavirus Omicron variant will become the dominant strain of the viruses within weeks, perhaps overwhelming hospitals' ability to treat patients. It's the same thing Dirty Joe said. It's the same exact thing. It's kind of like they're reading the same playbook. I mean, it's kind of weird Dr. Anthony Fauci didn't read the same playbook as Trump, but, whatever. Quote, Omicron is the most transmissible virus of COVID that we had to deal with thus far, Fauci told U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation. He predicted it would soon become dominant in the United States. See, they're getting ready to shut shit down. The question is why? Florida has taught us keeping shit open works. You see, we talk about science, we talk about the data. No, they only use science to their advantage, what they want to get accomplished, their own agenda. They don't want to use the overall science perspectives. They don't want to hear anybody else on the contrary to what they believe. It's only what their agenda is. But why? Why do they want to shut down the country? Why is that even a possibility again? Where inflation is at 6.8%, if not higher. The dollar means nothing. People are fucking getting laid off for not getting the vaccine. People were already laid off, already fired, already jobless, unemployed, getting unemployment checks. Benefits expire soon if they already have it. If you don't believe me, just look. Listen and look at what Dr. Fauci said. Fauci, quote, COVID guidelines may need to be more restrictive. They plan to shut down this country. Other countries are already doing it. Germany. I believe Britain is trying to do some shit. Australia. Man, has Australia shown you that they are not a republic, an open society? No, they're more along the lines of communism by delegation. Not necessarily just one leader, one person calling the shots, but no, they delegate from many people. Let's listen to what Dr. Fauci has to say about this restrictive measures that he's hinting at. If the video loads. If it doesn't, I'll just read it. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, Dr. Anthony Fauci, said Friday on CNBC Squawk Box that COVID protocols may become more restrictive with the Omicron variant. So listen to him. Let's listen to this guy.
For the mRNA.
As you know, we are in holiday season and there are holiday parties. You've talked about getting together with your family during the holidays, and you've recommended testing and the like. At what point would you reassess that? And how would you think about holiday parties, even those with tested, in environments and areas? As I said, by next week, if you do the math logarithmically, New York could be in a place where the positivity rate could cross 25, 30%.
Well, you've got to just take things one step at a time and take a look at how things evolve. I mean, obviously, if you are vaccinated, your family's vaccinated, you have friends who are vaccinated and hopefully also boosted, you could still enjoy a social gathering, generally in a home.
The Gestapo. The elites have spoken. If you follow like a good old sheep, you can enjoy the comforts of the illusion of freedom. Scott Watson says the CDC has overcounted the number of people who are partially vaccinated by regularly including second doses and boosters as first jabs. Business Insider says. So it's quoted in the Business Insider. Thank you, Scott. Don says, remember, a mandate isn't a law. A mandate is when Barack Obama takes Michelle out for drinks. Salute for that. Don also says, because the elites are robbing us blind. Everyone will get COVID. Deal with it, folks. Omicron is just COVID with a cough. That's what Don says. Don, you might be right. I'm no scientist. I'm no health practitioner, but you might be right. Let's continue to listen to Dr. Anthony Fauci talk about our freedoms. Remember, he didn't discuss freedoms. That wasn't his job. Remember that. Remember, he said that under Trump. His job was more about the medicine, about the science, about disease. But now it's kind of like a dictator, the gatekeeper of freedom.
You've got to be careful when you go into large public indoor spaces.
I can't continue to let this shit load up. Host Andrew Ross Sorkin says, as you know, we are in holiday season. There are parties. You talked about getting together with your family during holidays. You recommended testing and the like. At what point would you reassess that? Fauci is quoted at saying, you've got to just take things one step at a time, as we just said. He continued, he says, if the counts keep going up and the test positivity keeps going up, we may need to be more restrictive. But for right now, people who are vaccinated and boosted should feel reasonably comfortable. Reasonably comfortable. Not absolutely comfortable, but reasonably comfortable. The risk was never zero. That's for sure. That's what he says. The risk was never zero. Fauci added, quote, I think you have to look at all the different factors. You have to look at the people who are getting infected. You have to look at the seriousness of the infection, the rate of hospitalizations, all of those things you look at when you make a determination about how restrictive you're going to be. You see, he doesn't want to tell you the measurements of the restrictions that are coming. Oh, and they're coming. The president of the United States has warned multiple times of a dark winter, a dangerous winter where people will die in mass amounts. Now he's saying it's the unvaccinated. Like I said, COVID's real. I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it. I had the shit. It's real and it sucks. But there's a deeper, more maniacal thing going on underneath it all. You see, they're only showing us what they want to show us. I'll get to that. Trust me, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to join the worlds together. It's what I do. Oh, this is on Breitbart.com, by the way. Omicron emptying offices. College goes remote again. See, this is just proof to what I'm saying to you. That restrictions are going to happen. Businesses are already not serving people who are unvaccinated. You already have to walk around with your slave card, aka your COVID permission slip, saying that you have followed the directions like a good slave, like a good sheep. But it's not the unvaccinated that are the issue to me. And this is when I know that this is a bullshit story. This is propaganda that they are pushing down our throats to accomplish their goals. The NFL is like 90-something% vaccinated. It's crazy. It's so crazy to the point that Baker Mayfield, the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, has to step up and say something. If you don't know, this week the NFL has separated games. Shit, there's a game on right now that I'm watching in the background here as I do my show. They have one Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday now. Baker Mayfield, quote, make up your damn mind to the NFL about their protocols over the virus. Cleveland Brown quarterback Baker Mayfield slammed the NFL in a series of tweets on Thursday evening over its apparent vaccine inconsistency and suggested that the NFL not delaying games amid a surge of coronavirus cases. It's evidence that the league does not care about its players. Let's look at these tweets. Baker Mayfield at NFL, make up your damn mind on protocols. Showing up and making only 3 teams test. Also, you can keep the games as scheduled to make money. Well, Baker, it is a business. Baker is quoted. Actually caring about player safety would mean delaying the games with this continuing at this rate. But to say you won't test vaccinated players if they don't have symptoms, then to pull this randomly doesn't make any sense. Baker says, "Tell me if this makes sense. No test this morning, then let our players gather for practice, then show up after practice to test them. Something seems off here." See, he's feeling this too. He's feeling the same thing I'm feeling. And that's just this world is off. This world isn't the same. Are we in the age of Aquarius? Were the Mayans right that the world was over? What was that, 2012 or whatever? I don't know when. I don't keep up with that fables. Just something seems off. The way people are acting, something doesn't make sense. But to me, I feel like I know what it is. I think it all has to do with cyber attacks and the plan that governments around the world are going to do. And it's a plan. This is no conspiracy. This is a fucking plan. Ukraine hosts large-scale simulation of a cyber attack against its energy grid. Comprising 215 participants, 49 teams competed, either virtually or in person, at a venue to accrue points against an attack against a fictional energy provider after it suffered several unexplained system failures. Well, you're going to be like, it's just Ukraine. Who gives a fuck about Ukraine? Well, it's not just Ukraine. It's not. InfoSecurityMagazine.com. This holiday season, don't forget to prepare your organization for cyber threats. Cyber. What the fuck? Who gives a fuck about a cyber threat, right? Like we've had them before. They've never made news. You've seen Vice plenty of times. All those people stealing information, stealing credit card information. You've seen it. It's been a thing for at least 20 fucking years. But why now? Why does the media give a fuck now? Why are countries simulating cyber attacks? It just bugs me the fuck out. This is on CNN. All the fucking sheep love CNN. So you got to believe it was CNN. Let's play this video, see what happens. I think this is a video. No, it's not a video. I'm tripping. Ultimate Kronos Group, one of the largest human resources companies, disclosed a crippling ransomware attack on Monday, impacting payroll systems money for a number of workers. After noticing unusual activity on Saturday, noted that its systems were down and could remain that way for several weeks. Black Swan event? Is that what they're saying? I don't know. It's whatever you believe, I guess. Kronos has a long list of notable customers across the public and private sector, including the City of Cleveland, New York's Metropolitan Transportation Authority, Tesla, and MGM Resorts International. It also works with many hospitals across the country. Now, do you see where what I just talked about and cyber attacks are joining forces, right? Imagine hospitals treating hundreds of thousands, if not millions of patients around the world. Hospitals are packed to the roof, and all of a sudden a fucking cyber attack happens. Imagine insurance companies. Well, hospitals can't get in touch with insurance companies. They can't verify that this person has insurance. They have to make decisions on treating a person. I mean, we've already heard the stories last year about them making priority over vaccinated, unvaccinated people, making priority on which surgery is more beneficial. We would have to trust into hospital, big pharma. Imagine that shit. This is where we're at, 2021. Some employers find themselves having to make contingency plans in order to pay workers, such as shifting to paper checks. How many of these people getting paper checks? Never mind. I'm never going to say it. And some impacted employees have been unable to access payroll systems. The ransomware attack impacts Kronos Private Cloud Solutions, a data store and entity for several of the company's services, including UKG Workforce Central, which is used by employees to track hours and schedule shifts. What I just read here makes me feel like millions of people, when this happens, when the cyber attack happens, and it's going to happen, millions of people in America won't get paid. Just that alone would be reason to bring in martial law, to restore order to society. Just that alone. Yahoo News. Yahoo News. Once it loads up. Just so you guys know what I'm saying, it's not just one website, not one one website that is picking a side. No, this is kind of worldwide. Yahoo News, 2021. The year's not even over yet. Remember, dark winter from what Joe Biden said. 2021 was the year of cybersecurity. Or the year cybersecurity became everyone's problem. Look at that. Ooh, school. Ooh. I know it's kind of far-fetched. It's like a crazy fairy tale, but this is where we're at in America. Now, just the news outlets aren't the only ones preparing Americans for a cyber attack. The White House itself, Joe Biden's White House, is also preparing us for a cyber attack. I will put it on the screen right now. Just so you know, I'm not fucking around. CISA, White House, urge organizations to get ready for holiday cyber attacks. The U.S. government provided a list of things companies need to do ahead of the Christmas holiday to protect themselves from cyber attacks. Why the fuck all of a sudden is cyber attacks a thing? Because the governments around the world are going to make it a thing. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency and the White House have released warnings to companies and organizations across the country, urging them to be on alert for cyber attacks ahead of the Christmas holiday. Dirty Joe Biden said that he was going to have a interview. What do you call those things that he has? A speaker event Monday. I guarantee you, well, not really guarantee you, but I'm for sure that he's going to talk about restrictions, COVID lockdowns for everyone, not just the unvaccinated, everyone. Because at this point in time, everyone's getting the Omicron virus. CISA has released CISA Insights preparing for the mitigating potential cyber threats to provide critical infrastructure leaders with steps to proactively strengthen their organization's operational resiliency against sophisticated threat actors. In a letter sent out on Thursday, White House Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology, Ann Neuberger, and National Cyber Director Chris Inglis said there are typically breaches around national holidays. So this isn't odd, right? You know, they said that typically it happens around the holidays. So what makes this year special? Is it the dark winter that's going to happen that Dr. Fauci and Joe Biden said that was going to happen? I don't know. Too many coincidences, right? It's a lot of coincidences. Because cyber criminals know that security operation centers are often short-staffed. Why are they short-staffed? I wonder, does not being vaccinated have anything to do with that? Whatever. Cyber officials released a similar message earlier this year after major attacks on the Colonial Pipeline and Kasai, whatever the fuck, however you pronounce that, took place on Memorial Day weekend on July 4th. Beyond the holidays, though we've experienced numerous recent events that highlight the strategic risk we all face because of the fragility of digital infrastructure and that ever present threat of those who would use it for malicious purposes. What they're saying is the opportunity is always there for hackers. Hackers are typically smart, well connected people. Sometimes people connected to the government, the CIA, NSA. I mean, the NSA, I believe, hires like the top 1% of mathematicians in America or some shit like that. Like their standards are really fucking high. I mean, David Schwartz worked at the NSA. Self-admitted, by the way. It's not a theory. Just to let you know right here, what I'm saying is no bullshit. Israel's finance ministry leads 10 countries in simulation of cyber attack on the global financial system. It's not just America, people. This is big times, by the way. The Israeli Ministry of Finance hosted a simulation of major cyber attacks on the global financial system. That thing's going crazy. And a multinational security exercise called Collective Strength, which involved representatives from 10 countries, as well as some international financial agencies. The exercise was aimed at increasing international cooperation that could help to minimize any potential damage to financial markets and banks. Remember the last article I just read about payrolls being affected? Now banks are going to be affected. Shit, people aren't going to get paid for their services. It's going to cause mass upheaval, a dangerous situation. This isn't just a right or left issue. You're going to have Americans, citizens just from around the world going crazy because they haven't gotten paid. Bills are due. Just because the bank has been corrupted with viruses doesn't mean they don't want their money. They're still going to be kicking people out in the streets. We all know that. Look at the Great Depression. They didn't throw a bone. They're licking their chops right now. The exercise was aimed at increasing international cooperation. Help me. I think I just read that. The collective strength symbolization comes after the related World Economic Forum. Now, if you follow my show, how many times have I talked to you guys about the WEF, the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset? This is what they want. Never let a tragedy go to waste. I'm not bullshitting here. You think I'm bullshitting? Let's go to the World Economic Forum's page, their website. The World Economic Forum. Now is the time for a great reset. Let's go to their leader. Where's he at? Let's see his quote. Let my computer just download a little bit. No rush. There's no rush. The rush is going to happen when your bank account has zeros. That's when the rush is going to happen. The rush is going to happen when you can't pay your mortgage, your rent. You can't afford groceries. Push to reset the world. Light green. Let's go to it. COVID-19 lockdowns. Listen, this is how they started. COVID-19 lockdowns may be gradually easing, but anxiety about the world's social and economic prospects is only intensifying. There is good reason to worry. A sharp economic downturn has already begun, And we could be facing the worst depression since the 1930s. But while this outcome is likely, it is not avoidable or unavoidable. To achieve a better outcome, the world must act jointly and swiftly to revamp all aspects of our societies and economies, from education to social contracts and working conditions. Every country, from the United States to China, those are the pillars of this great reset, by the way, must participate in every industry from oil and gas to tech, must be transformed. When he says transformed, I wonder, does he mean integrated with blockchain technology? Maybe. Who knows? In short, we need a great reset of capitalism. Don't you love this word, capitalism? I fucking love it. It actually makes my dick hard. Yes, lots of things make my dick hard, but especially capitalism. Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. The pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset our world. You will owe nothing and like it. All that comes, all this is happening. All of it because, my personal opinion, the Great Reset is integrating crypto technology, blockchain technology, to help stabilize our financial institutions. Yes, they want to know what you're shopping on, or what you're shopping, what you're buying, what you're spending your money on. They want to know your habits. The CIA has said such, the FBI has said such, and I'm pretty sure all the detectives around the world would love to know what their citizens are spending their money on. But to know it's real, now I didn't do a show last week, or I would have played this video, but to know it's real is in this video that I'm going to show. Blockchain CEOs, many different companies, were at Congress. You see, Brazil has already said that, or they're already advancing regulation through their political sphere. China has already done it. Russia is doing it now. Ukraine, Australia. Oh, Australia's treasurer, whoever the fuck he was talking like we're going to lead the world with this blockchain technology. We're not going to just let Silicon Valley and America be the ones who decide the future of the world. This is how big this thing is. But on the screen, we're going to watch little highlights from the CEOs of many blockchain companies, nonprofits, talk about crypto to the Congress. This was last week. This was, what date was this? See if I can get a date. It was sometime last week. I think last Wednesday or some shit like that. So let's just watch it and let's hear what they have to say so you can understand that this shit is now going to move forward very quick. Maybe like Monday lockdown quick. Who knows?
Mr. Brooks, let's step back from digital assets and blockchain for a moment. Let's talk about where the internet was, where it's come to, where it's going, right? We're trying to level set here for policymakers. So originally, the internet was a read-only format, in essence. We're consuming information. And then there's additional layers that we place on. It became much more interactive. But counterintuitively, much more interactive, but much more centralized in Web 1, Web 2. What we're hearing now is Web 3. Policymakers need to understand the nature of Web 3. This is a hearing about a component of
Web 3. For a lot of you non-crypto believers, non-crypto people out there, look up Web 3, look up the ISO 20022, not theory, but agenda, and what is going to happen in 2022. And it's going to happen. And you'll understand why these people are making it a priority to discuss crypto and blockchain technology in front of the masses. You see, if you believe in the Illuminati, one thing that they do is they hide everything in plain sight. How many of you knew that this happened? I mean, who aren't crypto enthusiasts, how many of you knew that this right here happened?
Web 3. Now, along those lines, what are the characteristics that defined Web 1 and Web 2?
Mr. McHenry, thank you very much for that question. I think that's critical to understanding what we're all trying to build here. So the characteristic of Web 1, if people remember their original AOL account, was an ability to look in a curated walled garden at a set of content that was not interactive, but was presented to you on AOL the way that Time Magazine used to show you the articles they wanted you to see inside of their magazine. Just you could see it on a screen. The innovation of Web 2 was that suddenly you could not only read content, but you could also write content. This is when the blogosphere became a big thing. People remember this from the late 90s, the early 2000s. The reason for the centralization of the internet, of course, was that all of that activity was being monetized by a very small number of companies. Facebook, as the chairwoman mentions, Google, and 2 or 3 other companies. What makes Web 3 different is the ability to own the actual network. And that's what crypto assets themselves represent, is an
Crypto represents owning the internet. You see, the internet was once not owned. Everyone's using it for free. Now with crypto, you can own pieces of the internet. Cyber attacks, internet, lockdowns, it's kind of all going together. Some say it's a conspiracy. I don't. I say it's a future reality.
ownership stake in an underlying network. So when you hear people talk about, for example, layer 1 tokens, what they mean is this is your reward for providing the ledger maintenance services, the computing power to the network that on Web 1 and 2 was done by Google, right? So now people in my hometown of Pueblo, Colorado can actually own the Ethereum network, but they can't own the internet. That's owned by Google and a few other companies. That's what the project of crypto is all about, is allowing people to directly own the networks that have native assets that are supporting it. And that's the nature of decentralization, where the token holders are the people who control the asset,
Okay, so
not
the
Google.
token holders, for our language here on the Hill, those are digital assets, right? Which are the keys to open up the ledger for you to participate, right?
Correct.
So describe to us how those digital assets fit into this internet revolution, Web 3.
So the concept is that you have sort of application layer tokens and you have protocol layer tokens. So if I'm an owner of Bitcoin, let's say that I'm a miner of Bitcoin, somebody who actually creates Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is the reward I receive for doing the work to keep the network operational. And that allows me to own a piece of the Bitcoin blockchain. Or take Ethereum, which is easier to understand. The Ether token represents an ownership stake in the network. But on top of that network are all kinds of apps that get built on the network, much like the apps on your phone depend on the underlying network existing that lets the phone operate. And so people will make judgments about which network is likely to win, and they will invest in the tokens in that network much the same way you might invest in Google stock because you think Google is going to scale access to the original internet. The difference being here, you can vote on what happens in the future of a proof of stake network, for example. You can get rewarded through a proof of work token for maintaining a ledger on something like Bitcoin. But the real message here is that what happens on the decentralized internet is decided by the investors versus what happens on the main internet is decided by Twitter, Facebook, Google, and
So what's decided with crypto, with blockchains, is the investors, the people. But what's decided by the true original internet, Web 2? Big business. Do you understand why Democrats do not want blockchain technology? You see, they got partnerships with Google and Facebook. I mean, they censored a fucking president. They don't want us to have that power. They want us to continue to be slaves, be sheep, stay in your house, get vaccinated. And if you're not vaccinated, stay in your fucking house. See, that's what they want from us. These elitists don't understand the working class anymore. Nor do they give a fuck. They've shown you. AOC, who ran a ticket when she first became a congresswoman, I loved the message. But as soon as she got in, she became the fucking same swamp that she said she despised. That's what happens too many fucking times with these politicians. They don't give a fuck about you. Like George Carlin said, there's a big club and you ain't invited. Me neither. We're not the elite. We're not Ivy League. We're not born with silver spoons and bread and butter. No, we have to work for that. Some of us get there. And some of us will get there with this new crypto technology. You see, government's going to smarten up if they already haven't. They're going to pick winners and losers of this crypto sphere. And if they don't, the World Economic Forum will pick winners and losers. The IMF will pick winners and losers. It's already happening. If you don't believe me, ask Brad Garlinghouse, the Topeka, Kansas native where I'm from. Let's give him a round of applause. It's from the jungle. Let's hear what Brad had to say.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed.
Brad is a beast, by the way. It's a fucking beast.
So that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening.
He just said the market could flip the switch to ODL. On-demand liquidity. And he clearly said that has happened. Government has already decided what they want, who they want. They've already decided that these lockdowns, that all this bullshit with the COVID, it's just a front. It's just a front to transition us for the Great Reset. All right, everyone. Hopefully you like the content I created. If you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment on this video. I'll chop it up and I'll add little shorts, little snippets here and there. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys Tuesday. Peace out.